the last thing was kind of doing the guidelines, which was interesting. And that, in my mind, was almost like, it was almost like Trump getting the country back from the doctors, right, in the sense that what he now did was, he's going to own the open up. There were three phases. There was the panic phase, the pain phase, and then the comeback phase. That doesn't mean there's not still a lot of pain, and there won't be pain for a while, but that basically was, we've now put out rules to get back to work. Trump's now back in charge. It's not the doctors. They've kind of, we have like a negotiated settlement.
Jamie, just the tone there, the president getting the country back from the doctors.
So this is, they wanted to sideline the doctors. Simple and clear. They saw the doctors as adversaries. When you say negotiated settlement, it sounds more like the end of a war. And John, it just underscores the Trump-Kushner political strategy. They had one concern, Election Day. Once again, as Woodward showed throughout the book, a failure of leadership, a betrayal of trust. And as we see the numbers surging again, it's going on today.
The most dangerous people around the president are overconfident idiots, right? Because that has a way sometimes of getting past his defense mechanism, because if you're overconfident, then sometimes, on a topic where he doesn't have other people around to kind of validate it, then he can sometimes say, okay, let's go with that. So that's kind of, I think if you look at the evolution over time, we've gotten rid of a lot of the overconfident idiots, and now we've got a lot more thoughtful people who kind of know their place and know what to do.
John, I just want to emphasize those words, know their place. It's clear that whether it's administration officials or doctors, health experts, no surprise, Trump wants to be the one who's in charge.
And we are 4 years now, Jamie, into the Trump takeover of the Republican Party, and Jared has some pretty blunt thoughts about that.
Right. I don't think this is going to sit well with lifelong Republicans. It's probably not a surprise to them, but hearing Kushner's words, he is dismissive of the party, the Republican platform, and he credits his father-in-law with a hostile takeover.
And so, you look at like the Republican Party platform, it's a document meant to like piss people off basically more, because it's done by activists.
Yeah.
So you have a disproportionality between what issues people are vocal on and what the people, the voters, really care about. And what Trump's been able to do is, I say he's basically did a full hostile takeover of the Republican Party, and I don't think it's even as much about the issues. I think it's about the attitude.
It's about the attitude. It's about the person. It's about the person. This is the Trump party. It's not the Republican Party you and I grew up covering, certainly. Correct. If you go back. There's one last clip that you have, and this one where we get some insights about how important Jared is to the president.
So this is actually new sound of Donald Trump. I just want to say 6 days before Election Day, the president may not be happy to hear these comments from Kushner played in public, but he will have a hard time divorcing himself from them. Here's what he told Woodward about his son-in-law.
I told Jared to speak to you, and I believe he has.
Yes,
And I just told him a little while ago that if you would do me a favor, Jared, and coordinate a little bit with Bob so that Bob can speak to anybody he wants to, Jared will handle it. Very capable guy, Jared. You can't get people like this.
We talked once,
One smart cookie.
I'm scheduled to see
and
him.
If you could deal with Jared a little bit, see me whenever you want.
The president has this thing where Jared's essentially his eyes and ears to keep people in line. He's the lieutenant he trusts the most.
No question. I've spoken to cabinet members, senior former White House officials. When Jared calls, you pick up the phone. You listen. So there has been a strategy here. It's Trump's strategy, but it was also Jared Kushner's strategy.